Hello everyone, this is my fourth video today. I have nothing else to do, so I'm making a ton of YouTube videos. I hope you all like them. Anyway, this is my review of the Sega Saturn. Sega's third console, and America it's their in America. Well, it's their fourth console, but in America it's their third console because before that you had the Master System, you had the Genesis slash Mega Drive. And then you had the Saturn, and then sadly lost the Dreamcast, the best one in my opinion. But this is it. She's kind of hefty, but big. I mean, kind of big, but not pretty good size. I think this is a Model One Sega Saturn. You can tell it's a Model One because it has the Sega logo is right there, and it has oval buttons. You see these little buttons? They're oval on the Model 1. Model 2, they're round, and the Sega logo is in the middle, right over here. And this system was a major failure for Sega. It was a bad failure for them. They lost a lot of hate. They got a lot of hate for this system. And they lost a lot of fans. They lost a lot of money from this system. A lot of money. They lost millions of dollars from this system. And really, I think this is a good system. I think it's really good. The only bad thing is they were stupid to release it 5 months before it was scheduled to come out. Because they said, oh, Saturn is coming out in September of 1995. And then the E3, they're like, oh, you can get yours today. It's Saturn Day. So they released it in March of 1995, and they were going to release it in September of 1995 because they wanted to get a head start on the PlayStation. And that really hurt them because there were only 5 games coming out. There were only 5 games out at the time, all by them. So this system had a lack of third-party support, really, because that pissed off a lot of developers because they were like, "Fuck you! You said it was coming out in September, so we don't have our games ready yet. Screw you." And another reason why I didn't have a lot of third-party support is because this thing was very hard to program because it has 2 CPUs in it. It's a 32-bit system and it has 2 CPUs in it. So it has better 2D graphics and better sound than the PlayStation. That's I've read that it does. And it does have pretty good sound. I think the system's really good. The only downside is because it was such a failure and that it didn't last very long. It was only around from 1995 to 1998 because they quit on this system so quickly to make the Dreamcast. The games are very expensive. A lot of the good games are expensive. I paid freaking $35 for Resident Evil, the first one. 35 freaking dollars. Rip off. The games are very expensive. I don't know why they are. I guess because the system's popular, it has a large fan base, but they are expensive. The most expensive game for this system is Panzer Dragoon Saga. One of the last games to ever be released for the system, 1998. It's over $200 and something dollars. Who has the money for that kind of game? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's supposed to be one of the greatest RPGs ever made and the best RPG on the system. But damn, who's got that kind of money to buy a game for that much money? I certainly don't. I mean, I'd love to get Panzer Dragoon Orta and Panzer Dragoon. Wait, I have that on Xbox. I'd love to get Panzer Dragoon and Panzer Dragoon's Wii for the Saturn. I bet they're great games. I would love to get this Saga. I would love to get Darius Gaiden, and I would love to get like all these other great games that are on the system. This system has a lot of good games. There's a lot of good games, but they're expensive. I don't know why. But luckily, there's easy way out of that. Though, if you have a Model 1, it's easier. I'm thankful that I got a Model 1, not a Model 2. There's something called the swap trick. You can open this baby up. You got to put tape around around a lever inside of it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to sometime. You got to put tape around a lever. That fools the system into thinking that it has a disc, that it can read a disc even when the disc tray is open. So this baby would be spinning even when even when the disc tray is open. So that gets around the whole security of the system of it and enables it to read burn games, which I wish the system could do that, because that is why I love Dreamcast so much, because the games are cheap for Dreamcast. That's one thing about Dreamcast. The games are really cheap. The only ones that are expensive are the crown jewels, the ones you have to get. The ones like Power Stone 2 and uh, Skies of Arcadia. Those games are classics and they're expensive because they're so good. But there's games on this system that they're good, but but by all means they're not classics, and they're still over $20. I don't get it. Tomb Raider is like $10 for the system. Darius Gaiden is like $32. Mortal Kombat Trilogy is freaking $100. What the fuck? Really? Who's got that kind of money? I don't get it. Really? $100 on eBay for Mortal Kombat Trilogy? Somebody else is selling it for $50, but still, that is a lot of money for a game. I don't have that kind of money. You people are crazy to be selling your games for that much money. Jeez, I know you're going to make a profit, but damn, they're old games and not always in good shape either. But anyway, the system was a major failure for Sega. Major failure. Met an untimely demise. It came out at the wrong time. But it's a good classic system to own. I just wish the games were cheaper. But I would love to play more games in the system if I had the money, but I don't. So I'm gonna try to do the swap disc trick, or some other option you can do if you know how to solder, which I obviously have no clue at, and I don't want to screw up the system because it cost me $60. You could put a mod chip inside of it and don't have to worry about region locking or burn game or be able to play burn games. But that's hard to do. I heard it's even harder to do in Model 1 than Model 2, yet swap trick's easier in Model 1 than Model 2. Kind of weird why it's like that, but whatever. So anyway, you got your disc tray right here. Very convenient. Top loader. Doesn't break as easily. You got your little cartridge slot. It does not play Sega Genesis games. I wish it did. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So this is for memory. So cartridge slot for memory. Only has 2 controller ports. Downside, what were you thinking, Sega? Whatever. The back, weird thing about the system, it uses a battery for memory. You have to get a watch battery, and you put it in here, and it dies out within a year. It's the same battery that you use for the Dreamcast VMU. Same battery. So that is the Sega Saturn. And I'm going to review the controller real quick. This is the Model 1 controller. It's pretty comfortable, very much like the Genesis. Same kind of layout, pretty much. This is a different D-pad. I don't really like the D-pad that much, but I would love to get the Model 2 controller. The Japanese controller, I heard that one is a lot better, a lot more comfortable, but this controller's got little bumpers on here. I think it was probably the first system that had bumpers. Pretty awesome. I like this. Bumpers are pretty cool. They're very responsive. Just don't hit them at the top or else it won't work. Then you got, your 6-button controller. That's your Sega Saturn controller. And if you ever get the chance, go on YouTube and watch the Japanese commercials. This system was a success in Japan. It lasted until 2000 in Japan, which I think it should have lasted longer here, but no, Sega gave up all hope on this system. But if you ever get the chance, check out the Japanese commercials. They've got their mascot Segata Senshiro. He is awesome. He is God. He's better than Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris has nothing on Segata Senshiro. And you have to check out those commercials. They were so funny. He's awesome. So there you go. That is Sega Saturn. And I'm going to talk about the games next. The ones I have, which I don't have very many games. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this review, and peace and love.